Hey, welcome to another Traders Community podcast. Punters, dribblers, traders, and investors. Hope that everyone's had a good trading day. It's been a wild roundabout, up and down. The Lord giveth and taketh away, they say. That's pretty well what Apple and Amazon have done. So we've had a couple of wild sessions here. Got the glorious Madavi here. He's been trading in the pit all day today, so his voice is a little bit worse for wear. We got the Mega Johnny there, who has become quite the short seller. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is traders commenting on what we see, value, Nova Wave trading, noise, voices, all that sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. Of course, today all revolves around Apple and Amazon and the way they did. So the market's a lot different. If you bugged out at right at 3 o'clock trading to what it is now. Oil, big day, 104.80. S&P, 42.55. Russell, 1910. Natural gas, 69.40. Nasdaq, 13.275. Vol, 29.50. Let's have a quick look at the SPOOs. So this, if anyone doubts that this is a mathematical derived market and algos don't run it, just look at how clinical today was. It was a picture of beauty. We were minus 3/8 all the way up to plus 1/8, back down to 3/8, almost 2/8. So totally measured moves. So this is one of those great days. Actually, it never even got back to a trailing stop. Hit all our targets at just under plus 1/8. Not total targets, but all the minimums were hit. So this is one of those great days on SPOOs. You then had selling into the close to enable a good long, a short, and then most of us were flat, or unless you had a swing, given this was an ABC, into the Apple and Amazon earnings, which were shockers. Let's go quickly through those before we get on to the next lot of it. To give you an idea, Amazon, their revenues are in line. They guided 3-2Qs in operating income a lot lower. They lost 11.8%. Remember, they got a big holding in Rivian, so they had to downgrade that. Remember last quarter, that was all their profit. Oh, great stuff. Boom, down. They actually reported a loss EPS because of that. You take that out, it was a small profit. Apple, they did beat on the top and bottom line with iPhone and margin beats. They hiked their dividend 5%, and they increased their share repurchase by 90 billion. However, they're not producing their 3Q revenue guidance. It expects Q3 impact from the supply chain issues will be a massive 4 to 8 billion, which is a lot larger than what it experienced Q2. Remember, they also like to talk it down. That went up almost to 170, then got smashed down to 153, as we'll see in the chart. So these are big levels. That took futures back down again. Remember, yesterday, they had that big Facebook rally, even though the earnings were pretty well crap. So you've still got that. Remember, as Madavi will remind us that this was typical bear market rally, and we opined with that in the morning. So take your profits, take your, do your stuff. Okay, weekly, what's it look like? Nothing's still all bright red, isn't it? So it's going to be a big day tomorrow. It's a long way the lows. In theory, 154 handles away. But the high, the Tenkin's a long way as well, right? Let's look at the daily. We had that big green spug yesterday, and here we are, back red again as the market. So we couldn't even quite get to the cloud. That would have given us a perfect short or sell, but we got to our minimum targets, as I said. And there we have it. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq. We'll bring Madavi on. Here's the daily. You can see yesterday it was exactly perfect on the Nasdaq though. Look at that. Tanking. Anyone has any doubts on our system? Look at this shit. Unbelievable. 200. Unbelievable how good it is and accurate. We may as well say We like it. We do well, even if the dribblers don't seem to like it. Okay, go ahead, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think when we spoke yesterday, I said, hey, I think tomorrow we're going to gap up, and I think we're going to run up from there. And I was going to try to get some calls and stuff to be able to offset somewhat the setback that I was going to take, but it didn't work out because some of my buying powers, when you're selling calls, it gets expensive, and with the amount of contracts I had. But I still felt really strongly that by the end of the day, we're not going to be up to 500 points, especially when the earnings start flowing, because I believe a lot of these companies are going to be releasing whatever crap they have.
Yeah, and you've been 100% right on that, mate. 100%. That's fantastic advice.
So I felt a lot comfortable doing that compared if I did that sometime last year or the last 10 years even, because the market wasn't going my direction. I can't say the last 10 years. There's a lot of scenarios throughout the even bull markets where the markets were just generally heading down to a new level on the downside before we could pick back up. But nowadays, I think there's a lot more downside pressures than we have had in a long time. And let's see what the market does from here.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, just to clarify one point, someone asked just then that so typically when you're selling calls, so if you're selling calls and you have puts, you're actually getting shorter. That's why it affects your margin. So if you're selling puts, it's the same direction. So it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And actually,
you're right.
Clarify one
I should have been selling puts today.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, we've done a full round circle. We've gone up 500, and now we're down. We fell like 400 here. So, and see how fast that is. And look how it is on the grid. As I showed you, even better on Nasdaq. Remember on the daily, it hit that tanking minus 2.8 to plus 3. And today, as I showed you, it was if we were religiously stick to our system, we were able to pull 100 plus out of that S&P. It was unusual. If you remember on the way down, we got stopped out a few times on S&P, not on Nasdaq. Like over the last week or so. Today, it just shows you how bulled up the market was. We don't even short covering or new money, whatever it was, we didn't even get dunked until here. But
craziest moves, isn't it? I mean, these are tremendous. I mean, they're basically going from like 500 points on the NQs that are like really bullish. You have to have a really bullish day for that, right?
Mm-mm.
And then by the end of the day, it's all gone, sometimes negative. This is the purest, best example of a bear market trading, as you tell from our voice and place to trade. It's like, I trade from a couple of locations. Sometimes I go in there and trade with the guys at the desk, and sometimes at the house. But so you hear a lot of noises. Is in the office, and it's like an animal house sometimes, So pardon me about the background excitement, I call it,
Yeah, your throat is taking a beating today, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them do. So but a lot of the guys who listen, been through this. The problem is, I know it's been only 14 years, but there's a lot of traders that don't know what a bear market looks like or itself. Is going to look like.
That's why we caution about the dribblers and stuff like that, yeah.
So in the last 10, 12 years, I've been saying the same tunes, and wouldn't you know it, it's like Bigfoot. It's like, oh, here we go. And these guys are taking like massive losses only for a week later to be back up making new ones.
Yeah, it's incredible. So let's look at some of those moves after today, right? Here's Apple. So Apple, which is really the beacon of it all, right? So it comes down from 171 over 4 days, Gets down to 153, right? So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. This is a point Madaba's making. Then it takes 2 days up by the stairs, right? Then down by the escalators. And so what happens is a lot of people that might have got out of here, be it traders or investors, that have waited for these numbers, they push the button. And this high here was 169.99. How do I know exactly? Because we had sell orders at 170.40 to get short. Just playing the number game. So this was up $14. One bloke says, "Oh, I want more on Apple." I'm like, "How much do you bloody want?" It's $14, right? On the day. So the number comes, it drops. This went from, so remember what we just looked at in this chart. This went from 170 to 153.50 or 40 on the bottom here. This is 60 minutes, right? So these moves are brutal, and you got to know your stuff. And if you're not experienced, I wouldn't touch it. The dribblers, they never somehow lose. They're all opinionated dickheads. To be honest, I've just had enough of it, really. Listen, I can't even get on things like FinTwit anymore. Some of the people are despicable. And I don't know how they exist, to be honest, with themselves. So, because they lead people into these, and they just... So anyway, look at the numbers that created these. So it gets too much one way. What this does, bear market rally, means the shorts all get out, the bulls finally buy, and then boom, the rug's pulled out of you. Let's look at Amazon. This is even more brutal, right? This is Amazon. Remember, these are some of the biggest companies in the world, right? And all these investments in it. So here's Amazon coming in. So this is this morning, right? So it dribbles up. Actually, 100. It goes. Looks like the low here. Then we have Payfook. So the low here is 27.46. It gets up to 29.17. Right? These are people go, "Oh, it's a small percentage." It's still money. It's still dollar. Don't get caught into that trap. And look what it does. The number comes out 29.03. So to 29.03, it falls all the way to 25.21. That's $400. That's real bucks, right? These are big moves, right? And then it goes up in 26.60. Now here's the funny thing. So yesterday Ford had their earnings. Ford made a good point of saying, "Look, we made all the money on Rivian last month because they had that IPO. The Lord giveth and taketh away." Bang. So you already knew that Amazon was going to have to declare that loss. So a lot of smart punters were heavily short this and made it beaucoup money. Because logic, right? You also knew all the other stuff, the union problems, etc., etc. So what's funny is the dribbler doesn't want to share that, or they're so over the top, they just don't know. And then they get all bulled up. It's all over. So bang, right? So just think it's a zero-sum game. Someone's losing, someone's making money. It's not a bloody conspiracy. It's common sense. Don't get caught up. Have a mathematical system like the stuff we're showing on top of everything else just to keep you honest, right? I don't know. I can't be more blunt than that, to be honest. Okay, oil. Look at this. It's again bloody clockwork. Breakout. Up. What's it go to? Cajun. These are daily charts. Do I sound... the only reason I guess we're pissed off is this isn't getting to enough people or through to enough people. Weekly. Cajun. Bang. Up. $12. Right? Look at the Natty. Look at what it's doing. Bang. Look at the daily. What did we say? Gets to 7/8, struggles at the Tankin, sell. It had a little false break. What did I say last night? It gets on that Tankin, watch out. We have the EIA. Bang. These are good moves. I don't know if we want to spend too much more time on it, really. It's pretty black and white. You've got your levels. Please adhere to them and use them. Right? It's really that simple, right? So tomorrow is a big day for oil and gas. Why? You have Exxon and you have Chevron reporting tomorrow, right? You've got these big moves on oil and gas. Look at what their guidance is going to be and stuff like that, right? What their productions are. They're going to so both Exxon is in Sakhalin, which is right on the island near Russia and Japan on that side of it. See what they got to say about that. There's a force majeure declared the other day. See also with all their LNG, all their what do you call it? Production in the Permian. So you got Chevron and Exxon, two of the biggest in the world, talking about all that tomorrow. So anyway, that's pretty well it. There are other earnings. I think Phillips is out tomorrow as well. Keep an eye on it. So I think anything else you want to add, Madavi? Just there's your numbers. Stick to it. Anything else, mate?
No. I mean, this is
stuff that we're showing you is what runs the market, what the big houses are using. Listen to it's the only advice I can give you. The people that constantly mock other people, just don't listen to them, right? Just walk away and take what that is. You don't want that negative energy. These are intense markets. They're violent, and you've got to try and keep your hands about it. And there's a time to trade the futures in a direction. There's a time to trade more the smaller ones when they're running and to get on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's the trend of this.
Yeah.
You've seen it do this already a couple.
Right.
So, and it's going to repeat it until it does. That's why I'm riding it.
Right, and look at how big those moves are on Nasdaq we just showed you. And just to reiterate it, look at how big these moves are, right? So here's a Nasdaq. Where did I have that? On the Nasdaq. Here we are. Look at this is one session. 500 handles up, 500 handles down. Try and aim for the meat of the thing here. And this is the reason. Don't be going on, I picked this, I picked that. It doesn't really matter. It's here. It doesn't really matter what Kathy Woods does or some dribbler out there on your FinTwit or on CNBC. It's what happens to you. I'll give you a little tip. We went through it. Half these guys are egotistical pieces of crap. They don't care. So be comfortable what you take home, right? Just do that. Be a machine, right? Is that the best way I can describe it? It's hard to describe because I look at the Twitters and the comments and I'm like, damn.
The amount of upside they take to, if you've been short pains, really.
Right. I mean,
and they take it to the point. It's like, man, it's like one little thing. It's like you're looking at your P&L, how much you, I guess, are down for just the day. I mean, even if you did, for example, NQs, right? One contract, how much thing is $20? Do that by 500. That's $10,000.
It's unbelievable, really, mate.
Unbelievable. Just one of them. And if you get these, which are the $2 ones, it's that kind of pointage. So 500 points again. So what is that on the $5 every? That's got to be more than $1,000. It's
and so that's why we try to warn. I mean, it's like on energy when we've traded this stuff for a long time, Natgas and oil, and I know these points are bigger than NQ or SS, and they're worth a lot of points. So be disciplined and be prepared, and kind of like a cobra. Or a cobra, whatever you want to call it, what part of the world. But you want to strike, you want to know it, and you trade. Madavi has a great expression: trade size accordingly, right? Rather than don't be greedy, don't be this. And when you're out of form, it's just like when you're a footballer or something. You pull it back, And when you're in form and you're seeing it, when seeing it when you have a system means you're basically adhering to your system, right? Because you know when you're wrong. If it's out of cycle or whatever, that's what I like to call it, like out of cycle. Like this oil, right? These people that don't trade it, like we trade, there's a lot of people that in the room trade oil with size and their experience, and they've been with some massive people. We're all pulling back because the spread's there, the people aren't there, and you've seen with, so that's the pros. So it just, I guess I'm very tired of the bullshit really out there because it's costing people real money, and that's the only reason we do this. No other bloody reason, So
it's a great time, but if you got, so remember, always go with the direction of the markets, right?
Trend your friend, right?
Yeah. Back. Yeah. So even though this market made it 500, it only took 20 minutes or less to give it all back.
It's incredible, really. So don't misunderstand. We're not saying hold losses at all. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I trade a little bit different, so I actually took that swing up and down because I'm using that grid, right? But notice, we're not going against it. And things go down fast, go down by the, what is it? Up by the stairs, down by the escalator. Remember that. And the rubber always meets the road when it comes to the commodity world and trade. An incredible trade. These moves, though, they happen all the time. Over the years, every bubble's the bloody same. And now this is getting really interesting because, and it's on the website, but you had negative growth this month, and you got a Fed raising interest rates. So just think what that bloody means. So you're already in negative growth. Forget what, and the bond market's like, hang on. And we know the inflation, and we know you can't control supply. What a bloody mess we are in, right? And you're getting on all these things like FinTwitch. These are all half of the 90. I can count real traders on one hand pretty much, maybe two hands in this market. So you've got all these people trying to make money, be it brokers or trying to flog subs because they can't make money, or this sort of stuff, telling you what's going on. So pull it back a little bit, look under it, and use common sense and logic. And if it doesn't add up, it's not real. It doesn't add up. That's kind of the point we're trying to make, right, mate? So, but anyway, fantastic trading market for traders that are appointed, and you've got to have a good execution system. It's really fast, right? And if you're going into some of these earnings reports, you're really pushing the envelope or gambling, right? So, anyway, that's all from me. Anything else, mate? Oh, and smash the like, smash the subscribe button. If you like what we're doing, if you want us to keep doing it, all that sort of stuff.
And put down if you like us.
Yeah, if you got any questions, please ask us. If you need more explanation on the technical aspect, the trading aspect, we're happy to help. Obviously, during the day, we're trading our asses off, so we're not going to be all over things like Twitter and that bullshit. But I shouldn't say bullshit.
Thinking, like you do a special event once when the conference calls are going, how the stocks react to some news.
Yeah, that's a good point Madavi was making. So maybe during something like the Apple earnings, we go live and we have the charts up and how we're trading it, what's going on, how the market's reacting to it, and stuff like that. If that's valuable or helpful to you. For us, it's just a question of getting in the way of our trading. We do trade a lot. The points are valuable. So as much as we love you all, but anyway, hope you. So just give us a heads up, and we'll see if you want that. If you don't want it, you don't want it. So
You don't have to have it.
Exactly.
But
Well,
don't
thanks,
miss out.
Madavi. I know your voice is killing it. Your throat's killing
Yes.
it for joining
Yeah,
us.
yeah. The pits were crazy.
Yeah, I mean, get that hot tea and honey and all that stuff. Whatever your mum used to make.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Thanks for joining us,
Always
everyone. Exactly.